Okay, in this example, let's take a look at how one of the other props was modeled. So the eggshells in this case. And again, there's everything in layers over here. So there's the apple, here's the banana. And I'm just going to show you in these videos a few props, and you can pretty much start modeling some of the other props, and they're very simple. So for example, these eggshells, and you can see that they could pretty much be copies of one another, just tweaked a little bit. So once you model one, you can pretty much, just duplicate and change a little bit, like in terms of just pushing and pulling some of the geometry. Like in this case, I could just take like this piece over here and change a few things. And my soft selection is on right now. So let's turn that off over here. So let's turn the soft select off. So I can just copy one and just change the way the geometry looks, and I have another eggshell. So let's see how this was modeled. Again, a lot of different approaches. One of the things I'm going to show you right now is also one of the new tools in 3D Maya 2012. So I'm going to start with a simple sphere, and I have pretty decent divisions, as you can see in the sphere, in terms of axis and height, 40 by 40. So that's a lot. So let's say create. So I have a nice sphere over here created. Let's go to the side view or the front view. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a simple NURBS curve. Now, for those of you who've done any NURBS modeling, and if you've done trimming in NURBS, we're going to use that same concept, because that now applies, since Maya 2012, that applies in polygons. So if you still don't know what I'm talking about, we'll see it right away. So I'm going to go to CB Curve Tool, and I'm going to do a degree 1 curve, linear. So by default it's at 3, so make sure it's at degree 1. So 1 linear. And I'm pretty much going to go to my wireframe, which is hit 4, or this button right here. And I'm just going to start drawing. Just kind of like this. Let's say right around there. And let's go to our perspective view, pull this out. And pretty much what I'm going to do is just use this curve to project on that sphere. So select the curve, shift select the sphere. I'm going to go to Edit Mesh, Project Curve on Mesh. Let's go to the options. And I've used this tool before, so it's got my old settings. So if I reset, this is what the settings normally look like. So I can do current view direction, but in this case I'm going to do YZ plane, because that's the Y and the Z. And let's do project to edges only, and let's say project. And you can see how nicely that is projected across. And this is very interactive, so you can see that now if I don't like something, I can push and pull it, and it's nicely adjusting itself on the sphere itself. So that's very, very powerful if you think about it. Also right over here, if I don't like something, I can just pull it down, let's say. And this one, again, I don't like it the way it's going across over here. So I can just pull this one down. Actually, it's that guy right there. And we can readjust it if we want to as well. So let's come down over here. There you go. So after this, pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my sphere and shift select the curve. Now if the curve's not getting selected, there's always another option. You can go to your outliner and control select the poly projection curve. So again, you can select the P-sphere, and that's the guy actually I want, and not this one. So let's go to select the sphere and control select the poly projection curve. And then I'm simply going to go under Edit Mesh, Split Mesh with Projected Curve. I'm going to use that and say split and detach edges and say split. And right now, I'm pretty much going to go to our face mode, and I'm going to start deleting a few things. Now, before that, let's also come here and just quickly hide this in a layer so that it's not obstructing our view every time. And I'm simply going to go and start right around here and delete some of these guys. Now, if you feel that you're deleting a little too much, you can also deselect these. So just checking if it's not selecting some things that I want, like for example right here I might want to do something different. There we go. Okay, so let's delete it, and then I'm gonna simply go here and start deleting these guys. And you can see that very nicely. It gives me a very different look. So again, like I said, this is one way, and I thought while showing you this, I can also show you one of the new features. This is just one way of approaching this. You can do this a lot of different ways. But I feel that this is nice because you'll see after we are done deleting all these, what will happen, we'll pretty much select all the edges and nicely extrude them in to give it a thickness. So let's just delete some of these. And some of these, which are like the straight line up here, you can always readjust. You can go back and pretty much push and pull the geometry, and you can reshape it. Now be careful, you don't want to select on the something on the other side, so be very careful about that. Like especially this part I really don't like, so we can reshape that as well. So I'm gonna pause the video over here, I'm pretty much going to delete this all the way, and then I'm going to come back. So pretty much I've deleted all of them right now, and at this time there's some small pieces like this one I can go back and adjust it, and this right here I can pretty much delete that, and I was not on my delete button, so there we go. So I can delete all these guys, and then anything I want to readjust, like pretty much go over here and readjust these if I feel like, right over here. And let's say if this was done, you can also go and clean some of the unwanted vertices. So you can see that there's a lot of vertices which are just left over, like this one right here. All you got to do is go and delete it. So after that, pretty much what you can do is to give this guy a thickness, you right click, go to the edge, and I'll just double click on one of the edges. So I'll select all my edges over here, and I'll pretty much go to edit mesh, extrude, and it goes over there. So I'll just click on this little circle, comes in the center, click on the scale, and scale this however thickness you want. Let's say right about there. And after that is done, you can also edit. We've done a lot of things on this, starting with that. You can see right over here is the history. So you can also go, after you're totally satisfied with this, you can go to edit, delete by type, history. You can do that too. So right there. And then you can pretty much either go to the soft selection by double clicking over here, turn on the soft select, right click, go to vertex, and you can select these vertices over here, and you can nicely scale them down if you want to, or you can also non-uniformly scale it and non-uniformly scale it from here to give it some kind of shape. So a lot of different ways again you can approach that. You can also just simply kind of do this and then select them and kind of do that and just scale it this way. So a lot of different ways. I would recommend that you go to your soft selection over here and select the points and then scale them. So, but there you go, there's just one of them, and then like I said earlier, you can just select this, you can Control D to duplicate it, select it, and move the points right here and start readjusting it. Unless you really want to show that this guy, if you invert this and it fits exactly over there, then in that case what I would have done is I would have taken just that one big sphere and do the whole cut across with our projection and split those two guys so that they maintain that exact way they came out from. So they maintain exactly, so that if I was to flip this guy over here, then it would fit exactly in this spot. But that's not what we are trying to really show over here. So there you go. There's how you can model the eggshells.